Are you all today? It's recording me. That's even more intimidating. How many of you know the difference between pre-qualification and pre-approval? It's a trick question. It's not really a trick question. It's just a question.
I know the pre-approval is a lot more firm. It's an actual approval of qualification. It says probably meet these specs of our program.
Exactly. You got that exactly right. So a pre-qual would be you see somebody's criteria. They tell you, oh, I've got a 740 credit score. I make this much money. And we're saying based on that, you probably would qualify for this amount. Pre-approval, which is, and I've handed out a sample of First Colony's like pre-approval letter here. And this is something you'll want your clients to have before you go looking for homes. We actually, when we hand out a pre-approval letter, it means that we've gotten their information, we've gotten pay stubs, we've gotten W-2s, we've looked at their bank statements, we've pulled their credit, and we can see what their credit score is. So we know based on that what kind of an interest rate they're going to have. So when you get one of these letters from us, you can pretty much be solid that your client is going to be approved for the loan for the home. So you want to make sure that that's cut and dried, that you have that. A lot of times we won't put a purchase price on the pre-approval letter. And that's when we would be like just communicating with you. So call us, we'll tell you how much they're going to qualify for it. They should also know we will have communicated that to them as well. And if you have any questions about this, give us a call. We'll be happy to tell you more about it, but it's just something you can read through. We also can, put stipulations on these based on the sale of their home. That's where their down payment is going to come from. You're going to want to know all of those details. And that's what's something that we'll be putting on this letter for you to go over. So if you have any more questions, just come reach out to Sheila or myself. Thanks.
All right, awesome.
It's you.
You can go and sit that down. I have my own mic. All right. Well, welcome. I'm excited. Today we're going to be talking about open houses, and I'm your man, Matt Christensen. Happy to answer all the questions you have as they come forward, but we've got a good one for today, folks. Open houses, big deal. This is an opportunity for you to meet people that you most likely you have never met before, and it's important to make a good first impression. You're probably wondering, okay, that shirt, that's a pretty wild shirt, right? Yeah, you don't see too many shirts like this. Well, you know what? It's an attention getter and it's a conversation starter. A lot of times when you meet people for the first time, they of course, they want something to remember you by, aside from just, your sweet words, the knowledge that you're going to be able to bestow upon them on the open house. Well, the first step is, of course, getting their attention. Hence, I wore a shirt like this so people could say, hey, you know what? Tell me a little bit about that shirt, or hey, you know what? Makes me think of Hawaii. And it's like, oh, have you ever been to Hawaii? You start a conversation. That's very, very important. Let's go ahead and get started here. We have a little curriculum we're going to follow, and I'll get into each one of the details as we go forward. See if this thing will get to a place where we need to be. Do I need to hit the mouse first? Sorry.
No, you're good. That should work now. Go
Okay, perfect. Okay, awesome. Okay, let's go ahead and move forward here. Okay, lead gen. This is kind of where everything gets started. A lot of times we get started in the business of saying, okay, where do I start? Well, lead gen is where we need to start always. I don't know everybody here in the room yet. I had a chance to meet Catherine for a minute. Cash, I think I saw your name out there in the parking lot. Is that you?
Yeah.
Agent of the month? Congratulations. That is exciting. No, I don't know you, sir. Tyler, nice to meet you. I'm Matt. Nice to meet you. And tell me a little bit about your situations. Let's start over here. Cash, I'm curious. Agent of the month. Tell me about that.
Rookie of the month.
Oh, rookie of the month. Okay. Rookie of the month. It's pretty close. Rookie of the month.
Let's see. I started full time last Monday. So.
Oh, just barely.
Yeah.
How did you already get rookie of the month?
So I've been with Keller Williams for a couple months.
Okay.
I've spent part time. I used to sell cars.
Okay.
So as I was transitioning out of that, I got all of my case studies. I've hosted a couple open houses so far. So yeah,
Good. Well, we'll hit you up for some of the questions too. Hear about your experience. Well, congratulations. Nice to meet you. And Tyler, how about yourself?
Kind of like Cash. I got my license in February, but I was down at school in Ephraim, and so
Snow College or okay, cool.
Yep. So I wasn't really here all the time, but now we're off for break. Then start diving in full time.
Okay, cool. Well, welcome. Best location, no matter what I think of Keller Williams. I love this place. I've been here for years now, almost 8 years. It's been 8 years this next month. I haven't even thought about changing because it offers everything that I'm looking for, which is fun. Kathy, you probably have already met your other co-peers. Well, my name is Matt. I've been in business since 2014 here at Keller Williams. Prior to this, I was not a real estate agent, but I did mortgages. And I did mortgages for years and years and years, for about 14 years, almost 15 years. I started back in 1997, probably before you guys were even born. Yes, I know before you were born, probably before you were born too, a long time ago. So I come from the mortgage world. It's advantageous to know more about mortgages and how they work. And thank you so much for explaining that, Michelle. Michelle, right? Melissa, I'm so sorry, Melissa. It's Melissa. Okay, well, it's important to understand how mortgages work and how they affect our market, because the more we understand, the better we're able to help people. And a lot of times when people walk in the door of an open house, they don't always know. They aren't already in a position where they're ready to buy a home. Sometimes they are, but sometimes they're not. And it's important for you to understand, okay, you know what, first you got to find the money. Even if they love the house, they can't buy it if they don't have the money, right? So first step, getting pre-approved. And pre-qualified is great. Pre-approval though, like you were saying, Cash, is stronger. That's where somebody's actually checked their credit, maybe even had their employment verified. They've had some other steps taken in order to get them in position of pre-approval. So that is number one. And I love that you had started off this class with that. Hopefully it doesn't bug out too bad, because that is 100% number one. And you guys understand that as you're showing off houses, the open houses. Okay, have you been pre-approved? That's always a good place to start too. And then you can start telling them, okay, you know what? I have a couple of great lenders, maybe one single great lender that you guys can go ahead and refer them to. That is definitely number one. Yes, clearly. Yes, Melissa, thank you. This is true. So always have that in your pocket, ready to go, because people are going to ask questions. Sometimes they'll ask questions about that specific home. Sometimes just about, hey, how do I get pre-approved? And it's a good idea to understand how that process works. I don't know if they've talked about that. Real estate experts, Broker Embrace, Connect, they haven't really talked about that yet, but that is something you should definitely get to know. The mortgage process. Yes, please.
Melissa and I will also do open houses with you. If you
Oh,
would
great.
like. I have a few agents that they want me there every single open house, which I try to not do every single Saturday, but I sometimes, but it helps to just be able to break down the walls with people and just let them ask numbers and stuff. And sometimes they want to offer on that very house and they haven't been pre-approved, and we'll get them pre-approved and get them going. And even if they don't get that house, then you capture their business through.
That is perfect. It makes you look like a stronger agent too, as you're hosting an open house, to have all the tools right there ready to go. Because there are folks who, again, need to be pre-approved, or they have questions about how much is the house payment on something like this. And you want an expert there, somebody who can possibly even get them pre-approved on the spot. Can you do that sometimes? That's amazing. I mean, that's power right there. So if you can, definitely take them up on that offer of, hey, go ahead and come on out to an open house that I'm hosting. That's awesome. Now, we just had another agent walk in the door. Tell me, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Julie Anderson.
Julie Anderson. Nice to meet you. Have you been an agent for a while?
Less than 2 months.
Less than 2 months. Okay, welcome. We just introduced ourselves. I know you probably already know most of the people here.
I just late this morning. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. We're just getting started. We're talking about open houses. That's what we're going to be learning about today. And again, first step I would say as far as getting an open house is either if you have one yourself, great. If not, I would reach out to the agents here in the office. We have a website that you can go ahead and offer, hey, can I host an open house on? And a lot of agents will, reach back out to you and say, yes, please. Because agents, they don't always want to do open houses. It's time consuming, although it's valuable, but they don't always have the time to do them. So some of those rainmakers who have all these listings, a lot of times they'll get the listings, but they don't always. This thing's still working. I think I just killed it. Okay. I think I just killed it. I'll turn it off and then turn it back on. Let's see here.
Owner is selling and they've got. How often do renters say okay to an open house? Because it's not their property.
Mhm.
They're at the mercy of somebody else.
Mhm.
How often are they okay with? I mean, like just on a normal basis.
It's hard to give hello, can you hear me? Did I kill the whole thing? That green one? Did I turn it on already? Did I kill?
Oh, very good.
I'm so sorry, guys.
It's fine. Hello?
You know, I'll just
Hello?
talk loudly. Okay, deal? Can you guys hear me okay online?
Yep.
Ritz, can you hear me?
Oh,
Yep.
he's doing
Okay,
the
good,
heart
good.
and the-
Okay.
Okay, great.
Okay,
Sorry
I'm
about
so
that.
sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Let me take all this stuff for you. Sorry, everyone. Technical difficulties.
No worries. Okay, great question. Okay, so renters afford.
Hey, Matt. Hello. Hey, Tori, let's just wait. Messaging Molly.
Cash, you're brilliant. Ritz, does this sound better? It does. Okay, so we're pretending that it works in here, but it works for you guys. Got it.
Okay,
Sorry,
cool.
There you go.
All right, so you can hear me okay. Yeah, because you guys can't hear in here, but that's okay. That was a great question. And did you have another question, Cash, or no? Was that just it? You were making a comment. Thank you for bringing that up. I know I'm not looking behind me all the time. So good question. Okay, let's get back to the open houses. How do we conduct ourselves at open houses? Let's see where exactly we're starting here. We have, of course, generating business through open houses. This is a good source to generate business. What are some other sources? Social media, good. Knocking doors. Exactly. So there's several, right? There's a lot of different ways to lead generate. This is one of them. This is a very powerful one, though. I would say open houses, I've closed a lot of business via open houses. Why? Because I opened up my mouth. When somebody walks in the door, what's the first thing you say?
Hi, welcome.
Welcome. Good. And you kind of want to create an atmosphere, people feel comfortable there, right? And so, yeah, you want to welcome them and get their information. Very first step, get their information. So I have an open house form that I have both on Drive as well as just on my iPad, just in my notes section, just in case my Drive isn't working for some reason. And I don't know if any of you have started one of these yet or not, but I'm going to show you a little bit. It's just a simple open house form. And you just take names, email addresses, phone numbers, find out if they're working with an agent or not. And a lot of times you can go ahead and add, are they pre-approved or pre-qualified? Because that's going to be an indicator of how far they've gone with the process. And does that mean you spend time with them more or less? Not necessarily, but it is an opportunity for you to go ahead and extend your information, your knowledge based on that. And if you just want to go to like notes or something like that, I have my notes where my drive wasn't working at the time. So I just took notes and I just started getting names and phone numbers and email addresses. This is just one open house. Open houses are popular. Okay. They are still a thing. So don't be shy to take on an open house. Yeah, go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry, Matt. Yes. No, it's okay.
How often do people say, no, I'm not going to give you numbers?
It can happen. It can happen. Okay, good. So what I do is to kind of break down that barrier. I let them know that, hey, you know what? The seller is opening up their house to see how many buyers want to come through the house and walk through the home. They like to know who's all been through the home. Now I'd like to get, your name and information, a phone number or an email address, just to let them know who's been through the home. And most people are like, okay, yeah, that's easy. If they say, hey, I don't want you to follow up with me. Okay. I don't have to follow up with them. Not a big deal.
You ever put that on a checkbox and say, follow up with me, yes or no?
No, I don't have a checkbox. No, but I'll make a little note next to it. Just so I know. I mean, I don't want there to be like a section saying follow up, yes or no. Most people will just mark no. I just automatically follow up with them unless they specify otherwise. And then if they say no, then I'll go and mark. Yeah, go ahead, Cash.
With the open house, we did a $50 Amazon card giveaway.
That's a great way to do it too. Yep. Yeah, because they want to be contacted. I mean, who doesn't want to win an Amazon gift card or any kind of gift card? That's excellent. Thanks, Cash.
We use the same type of form, are you
Mhm.
working with the agent, what's your name,
Yeah.
phone number, email?
Okay, good. That's excellent. Okay.
And you just randomly just grab one.
I mean, that would influence, I think, a lot of folks to say, yeah, why not? Some, again, might say, no, I don't care about that. And there's going to be people like that out there. There's going to be onesies and twosies. We just deal with it. I mean, we are in a people industry. So we just have to follow the vibe of, what they're putting out there. If they absolutely do not want to, be contacted or anything like that, and like, I don't care about the Amazon gift card, you know what? That's okay. Don't spend your time with them necessarily.
They should be pretty used to signing in everywhere they go if they've done any open houses, because everybody does it.
You're right. You're absolutely right. They're all very similar. As far as setting up initially, just getting contact information. This is important also. Just what if there is an accident at the house? You want to know who's all there, who's been through the home. What if there's something that goes missing? Yeah. You know what? I mean, the sellers need to know who's been in the home, who hasn't been in the home. So, I mean, there's a reason to do it, but I agree that sometimes people just don't want to be contacted. And you can ask them if they specify, hey, you know what? Don't contact me. That's okay. There's going to be lots of other people you can contact. That's a good one, Cash, though, just offering a reward, just for coming through the open house and giving their information. I love it.
Advertise that with the open house and say, all those come through. There's a drawing, like you put that in your advertisement, or is that something you can only tell people when they get there?
I have a board, like a chalkboard, that's right next to the signage. I haven't advertised it because I just haven't thought about it.
What do you think on advertising it?
Yeah, that's probably going to be more towards your social media is,
Right, but to do it or not.
yeah, I think it's great. I think if you can do it 100%, yeah, do it. It's going to bring more people into the open house for one. There might just be tire kickers, but that's okay. It still is going to bring attention, and sellers love attention to their own listings, right? Who doesn't like more people there? Then they feel like you've done a better job at marketing it, because this is what we do. We're marketers. That's all we do. We just market a product and we sell the product. There might be some tire kickers, but then also provides the sellers with, oh, wow, you are doing your job. It makes you look good. For one, as two, it also says, oh, wait, there's a lot of people here. We better get our offer in. It better be high. I mean, you think about people who make offers, and when they see that there's 3 or 4 other people interested in that same home, a lot of times they put their best foot forward. They'll follow the guidance maybe of their agents if they're working with an agent, or maybe with what you have to say, because you're representing maybe that seller. So that's something else. Let's go ahead and read what Gary Keller has to say. Cash, do you mind reading that?
Sure. Nothing else about your business will have as big an impact on it as the number of leads you have.
Probably should have handed this to you, but yeah, tell me about that. True or false? 100%, right? Gary Keller says it. He's like the god of real estate. So how do we get our number of leads higher? This is one resource, right? Open houses. And you guys had named a couple others too, right? And every single opportunity we have, we should take. Open our mouths. No matter where we go, open your mouth. I mean, this isn't related necessarily to open houses, but it's to open up your mouth. I had a dog that just had an issue, right? So I took him to the vet. I didn't know vets very well around here. I went and took him to the vet, and the vet was treating him, and I just started a casual conversation. It started off with like, tell me a little about yourself. Like, do you live around here? And he's like, well, I just moved here. This was the vet telling me this. And he goes, I just moved here, trying to get to know the area a little bit better. I'm like, okay. And then I started asking him questions, just, real estate related, just because why? I'm a real estate agent. Turns out he had just moved here without his wife and kids. They were still in Iowa. And he didn't know when to bring him out here. He didn't have a house yet here. And so he was a little bit nervous about it. Well, one thing led to another where I exchanged information. I called him up and I started talking to him about his situation. He's like, well, I have this place out in Iowa that I still need to sell. Have you guys ever seen a movie called Field of Dreams? That's where he lived. So I had to find an agent in Iowa. She was super nice. Ex-Dallas cheerleader lady. I don't know, but she was an agent, right? And she went over there. She met with the wife, got the home listed, and ended up selling it. And then we ended up buying a house here, all because I opened up my mouth. It's totally random, right? But there's opportunities everywhere you go. Open houses, this is probably one of the easiest ways to get leads. One of the easiest. Why do you think it's one of the easiest? Exactly. They're already interested. They already know, oh, okay, we're going to either make a move, buy, or what else could they be? Yes, maybe they want to sell. Maybe it's a neighbor, right? Neighbors a lot of times will walk through these open houses. Why do you think neighbors walk through the open houses?
They're so curious.
Yeah, they want to know, what does my neighbor have? What do they have that I don't have? Or is their home nicer than mine? Especially if they're kind of in that place where they say, okay, you know what? I want to sell my home. I don't know where to put myself, because once the home is listed, they kind of have a price point. They kind of have an idea of, okay, this is what I should be asking for my house, maybe, but they want to see what the house looks like inside. So opportunity right there. Talk to them. And have I sold homes that a neighbor has walked through? Yes. This happens all the time, you guys. Don't be shy. Talk to them about their situation. Find out, do they live in the neighborhood? Why are they looking in that area? Right? Or it might be a neighbor saying, hey, you know what? I have a friend or a cousin who's wanting to move here, and you know what? They're moving from out of state. They want to live kind of by me. This is a home that's kind of by my house. I'm looking for them. This happens all the time. People don't understand that all these little weird things and say, oh, that's 1 in a million. No, it happens all the time. And you just have to open up your mouth. So open house is a great source of lead captures. You probably saw that little list that I had right there. That was just one open house. You get sometimes 30, 40 people through an open house, but it depends on how you market it. I bet if you market it with, hey, you know what, you can win $50 Amazon gift card. What do you think is going to happen? More people, right? More. I mean, instead of 10, you might get 12 or 13. But that's 2 or 3 more people than you would normally get. Go.
Probably an obvious answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Okay, go ahead.
You as the agent are offering the $50. You're not
Mhm.
asking your seller to do the $50.
Correct. Now you can extend it to the sellers and say, hey, you know what? We want to make this an awesome open house. Do you want to offer them anything? You can. I mean, you as an agent, you can do what you want in regards to that. I personally would make it my own accord to go ahead and provide that because I feel like I'm the one who's benefiting the most. Yeah, I mean, sure, they're going to get more people through the home maybe, but it's really me, the agent, who's benefiting the most. Exactly. Yep. $50 is a drop in the bucket compared to what a seller's, willing to pay you as an agent. It's a good question. There's a lot to do about open houses. Of course, what do you think an ideal open house looks like? If you were to walk into a home, what do you want it to be like?
I don't like a lot of people because I want to be able to, and I'm talking as a client perspective. So like me as a client, when I walk into.
Do you have another mic? I'll go and pass this to you. Go ahead.
So me as a client, when I walk into, I don't like a lot of people because I don't want people to hear my thoughts. When I talk to my husband, I don't want them to go, "Ooh, she didn't like that. Ooh, or she likes that. Oh no, we better hurry." Like, I don't want them to know. So I think having a wider open time gives people time to space out. I don't know. These are just my thoughts. I could be totally right. I could be totally wrong. I'm wrong all the time. Ask my husband. So
Okay. So I hear what you're saying.
you can have it back.
It is kind of hard to predict. Or you want to pass it on to Cash?
Sure.
Do you have something to say about this?
Yeah. So
That's a good thought. I'm going to talk about that in a second.
as far as the house goes itself, it should look like a model home. Like there should be stuff.
I love it. Should look like a model home. So
Yeah.
it should be put away, organized, clean, like a model home. Okay, I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, what else?
And just the environment of, you're welcome to walk through, I'm here to help, that type of stuff. We take a cooler full of water and some cookies and stuff. So people can come through and it's inviting.
Okay, I like it. Anybody else have anything to say? I don't hit on both of these. Okay, both of these are really, really good topics to talk about for a moment. Okay, one, I'm going to go ahead and talk about your spreading it out a little bit, right? So a lot of folks will do. Go ahead.
Before you do that.
Yeah.
The whole cookie thing, I'm like struggle with that because I don't want them getting crumbs on my client's house.
Yeah, that's great.
So, but at the same time, everybody does cookies. So what is that?
Okay. Okay. I'm going to put you're marking that. We're going to visit that here in just 1 second. So no, you're totally fine. No, I love this. No, this is good. Okay. One, spreading apart the times. Okay. One, you can host more than one open house. You can do it over maybe a couple of days, over a weekend, right? You could do a Saturday and Sunday. You could do Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Saturday is usually the most popular, like from 11 to 2, right? That's probably the most popular, but it's hard to predict what everybody else's schedules are. So it's hard to nail it down to where there's only like one family in at a time. That's just a risk that we have to take running an open house. We don't always know when people are going to arrive, but that's a good question. Maybe we host it over 2 weekends. I'm going to come back to this though. Okay. So offering something warm and inviting is always nice. However, cookies can turn into a disaster. They could get crumbs around the house, right? It is nice, I would say, to have something to give to people who want to come to the open house. I feel like that's kind of a norm. It's almost like you go to Costco and it's like you kind of want to sample stuff. Maybe not everybody, but you go to an open house and it's nice to have something inviting. So I like the water. Water's excellent. I think that's a great idea. Sometimes people just want, just a little something to drink. Something to eat is nice. However, not just adults go to the open houses sometimes. Sometimes there's kids. You have to be careful of what you're offering at the open houses. I like the thought of warm, soft cookies. I mean, who doesn't? It can be tough though. I have actually stopped doing those only because of the mess that it can create. I've asked, some sellers have just said, hey, you know what? I don't want them to carry anything around the house. And so I quit doing cookies personally, but it makes the house smell so good. Makes it very inviting. What's that? It's exactly. So having a good scent in the home is a big deal. I would say you should come in as an agent or whoever is hosting the open house I would say make the home smell good. Okay, make sure the aroma is inviting and it feels good when you're in the home. One is the scent, the other is the temperature. Okay, you don't want a home that's freezing cold. You want a home that is comfortable, maybe even slightly warm. You want it to be very inviting. Why? Because then all of a sudden it gives the folks who are walking into the home a sense of, oh, I feel comfortable here. I feel good. And they play that back in their mind of, you know what, I like that home because, you know, it was really comfortable. I didn't want to leave. So that's something else to keep in mind. But the ambience that you create is adjustable. You can make it your own. So make it exactly what you would want in a home. Okay. So I would say maybe turn up the temperature just a little bit. Maybe have something, you know, to offer them. You know, I like water. A snack of sorts is great. Cookies, I like the smell of them, but I've taken those back just because I've had more sellers say, you know what, not this time with the cookies, because, you know, things can happen and you don't want anything else to happen for people in the future, but something to give them is always nice. I usually hand out like little Cliff bars or something, you know, just like little snacks, sometimes even those little like fruit snacks for kids, because sometimes kids come through and parents, what do they want? They want to distract their kids. Yeah. Kids like stuff like that. And you want to distract them a little bit so the parents can be able to concentrate on the home and not necessarily wrangling their kids. Like, here, have a fruit snack. And those are easy to clean up if you have to. Go ahead.
We were talking about just doing my own personal showings, like if they.
I'm going to pass this back to you. I wish we had another microphone. I don't know where that is.
Okay, so we were talking about just doing like, you know, if I take someone on a personal showing or whatever, and if they have to bring their kids, what could these are the thoughts that I had, you know, what can I bring to help occupy their kids? It makes me go, okay, you know what? I should have my own little tablet that I bring for my clients' kids that they can sit down and watch a movie while we are walking through the house, or they can follow it with it, you know?
Absolutely love it.
And so, but now I'm brainstorming, and this is me being total mom. Like,
would you want your kids sitting there while you're wandering through the house?
Well, no. But that's what I'm saying is if I'm doing an open house, to have a kid corner.
That's cute. Okay. So where someplace they're safe, go check out the house.
The parents can actually go and
you can
look.
Be like their babysitter for a minute.
And I have no problem. I'm a foster mom. I see, to me, that doesn't, I'm so used to everybody else's kids, you know? And so to me, I'm thinking, well, if I had maybe a kid corner, and you're right, maybe if I could have some crayons and coloring and fruit snacks that they can sit while mom and dad walk through the house and the kids aren't touching all my client stuff.
Okay. That's a great idea. I like it. I like it. That's good. I've never had that happen before. However, that's a good suggestion. Why not? Why not have a little kids corner? You can even bring maybe like a little box or a little, you know, like you were saying, some iPads that kids can play, and mom and dad go check out the house. The kids are safe here.
See, when we were selling our last house, my kids have plenty of toys. We would come home after an agent was doing a showing and my children's toys were scattered. And I was like, that is so inconsiderate and rude. And so I'm trying to think of ways that I, as the agent, can make sure that when people go, oh, Julie's showing the house, you have nothing to worry. Like,
okay, good.
She's
have a good reputation.
Yeah.
I love it. This is something that I've learned over the years. Kids have a different way of thinking. It's toys are like a source of, I want to say, it's like combined. Like most kids are like, hey, you know, you go to another person's house, they see toys, they feel like, oh, they're everybody's toys. That's not the case. However, to kids, they sometimes have this idea. So it's good to be able to distract them, keep them away from playing with all the other kids, and pull them out and just make a mess, because that could disrupt maybe an open house when you have to sit there and put away toys that other kids have. I haven't run into that too much, but I have run into that a couple of times. So I like the kids corner idea. That's a great idea.
Okay. Can I ask another question?
Yeah, go for it, please.
It's obviously on open house,
Yeah,
but
this is excellent.
this question is driving me crazy. When you're for sale by owner and the agent, do you do your own open house? Because you never want your clients at the open house when you are doing an open house. So if you're selling your own home,
Mhm.
do you ask another agent to be the agent for your open house, or do you stay there yourself?
That's up to you. I haven't had that issue before, but I think that's up to the agent. I would say, yeah, if you know of another agent who wants to come in and do the open house for you, I think that's a great idea. This way it kind of detaches any kind of personal sentiments from the situation, because yes, it's your home. You don't want to hear what other people have to say about it necessarily.
Yes, I do.
Exactly. Like, oh,
That's
man.
my problem is I want to know, but then I have to stay professional. And
Mm-hmm.
because I am not just the owner, I am the agent.
Exactly. So that's a place where I guess you just have to decide.
It's
whether
just
you wanna
personal
do it or not.
opinion. Okay.
Personal opinion. Exactly.
I was just wondering what the
Yeah.
norm was with that.
Well, what are some other ideas of the open houses that would make it more inviting? I mean, I like the idea of offering maybe a little cash reward or an Amazon gift card. That's great. A kids corner is awesome. Maybe offering them a little snack. We talked about maybe adjusting the temperature, the smell of the home. That's important as well. And how soon do you get to the open house and when do you close it up? Let's talk about that. Go ahead.
The two or 2 or 3 open houses that I like went with other people to.
Hey, you can go. You can pass that over.
Yeah.
Sorry. Thanks. Yeah. We'll start using the microphone.
So the 2 that
Rich should hear us.
I like helped with,
Huh?
then we showed up like an hour early just so we could like set everything up, like the signs. But then also that gave us time to take flyers door to door to like the neighborhood and like invite all the neighbors over. And then usually once like I think we gave like 15 minutes till like it was officially done
Mhm.
to start closing everything and cleaning up and taking down all the signs. So that's what
Okay.
we did.
I like what you just said. You just opened up a whole new subject here, right? And that is, okay, timing of the open house. Now, again, we're going to have it scheduled. It's going to be set. Let's just say 11 to 2, right? On Saturday. Great. You would get there, you would say at about 10 a.m., right? And you'd set up signs. What else would you do? You go door to door knocking. And to knock door to door, you said you have something. You said you have flyers, right?
Right.
That's a big deal. So preparing for the open house is a big deal. We have to get ready for the open house. It doesn't just happen immediately. One, you want to market it. 2, you want to be prepared and do it right. And that's an excellent way to do it, is you go door to door and invite the neighbors. That's a really big deal. Why do you think that's a big deal?
Probably because even if like the neighbors might have someone in mind that they know, like a family member or a friend, they're like, oh, one of my neighbors is selling their house. Go check that house out. Like there's an open house right now you can go to, or even they can come over and be like, we're thinking of selling our house, you know? So.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. This is a great opportunity. One, for you to go ahead and say, you know what? I just listed your neighbor's house. I just listed the Jones's house. A lot of times they'll have questions for you. That right there, that's a subject to talk about. Just listed your neighbor's house. You nailed it on a couple other things too. Hey, do you want to come by and take a look at it? Maybe there's somebody they know who wants to move into the neighborhood, right? That's awesome. Another one is maybe they want to sell their home. Have you had a conversation about, maybe selling your home in the past 6 months? Have you guys had one this year? It's just a question. They can just say yes or no. It's like, oh, okay, great. If you did sell your home, where would you move to? You just start a conversation. Once you start a conversation, allow them to talk. Why? Because people love talking. I know. Sometimes I'm guilty of it too. We all like to talk. And what do we like to talk about? Ourselves, exactly. And our situations. Not everybody, but most people do. But it's also good in order for you to find out a little bit more about the neighbors. Because you're right, maybe they want to list their home. Or maybe they want to come over because they know somebody who wants to move into the neighborhood. So it's a great idea to knock on doors. That's what I like to do. Every single listing that I have, I'll go knock all the houses around the house that I'm listing, okay? This is a big deal because I want to know who the neighbors are. I want to know who are the good people to know, who are the bad people to know. Not that you would say that, but you know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, these folks, they are networkers. They're going to know other people who want to move to this area. And, this neighborhood is actually a really nice neighborhood. There's a lot of kids here. So as people come to the open house, this is also something else you can talk about. You know what? I just met the Johnsons. They have 6 kids. They would love to have more kids live in the neighborhood because they want kids that their kids can be friends with. Your family would be perfect for this home. I don't know. There's just a lot of little things you can just add that would make it more appealing, maybe for the folks who are coming to the open house. So I like that you get there early and shutting it down. How do you shut down an open house? Okay. Go ahead. You have the microphone, so I guess go ahead, talk.
Probably, I think you'd start by like maybe taking down the sign so people like you don't keep getting people, but then like when I was with like helping the others, like we swept the floors and cleaned up for their clients so that even if there was messes, they didn't come home to a mess. And then we'd lock the doors, obviously.
Yeah.
And they left because I think on one we brought donuts and then another is like crackers and cheese. But like with like
crackers, just kidding. Right?
But like with the donuts, we had some leftovers, and so they just left them there for their clients. They're like they can come home to some donuts or something. But
okay, cool.
But yeah, like we cleaned up and made sure everything looked how it was when we got there.
Awesome. I love it. Anybody else have anything to add?
Much better answer.
Okay, good. No, I love what you're saying. Yes, I always like to leave a place better than I found it. You were saying clean up, right? Because even though there might be people just walking through the house, a lot of times it can stir stuff up. And it's nice just to leave it clean, right? Whether it's dust or dirt or whatever. Sometimes people track in stuff. You have something to say?
Do you ever go get the liners for walking, or do you do foot covers?
Depends on the weather, depends on the seller's requests. A lot of times I'll ask the sellers what they prefer. One, it is kind of a pain for people walking through the house to put stuff on. However, I'm not opposed to asking them to do that. Why? Because it's important for me to make the sellers feel comfortable and happy that, even though people are coming into the home, they're not disturbing it enough that they're gonna have to go get the carpets cleaned. Especially if we have inclement weather of sorts, 100% make them either take their shoes off or wear some kind of coverings, 100% without question. And most people are understanding about that too, because they don't want to leave a mess either. Most people, they want to come in, leave it completely undisturbed, but they want to look around, right? So I like what you said. Leave it better than you found it. Of course, I always take down the signs. I let people know that, okay, the open house is closing now. I always like to follow up with the sellers too. I like to let them know, okay, you know what, we just finished. So that either they can come back to the house, or at least they know who's all been through the house. Hey, you know what, we had 10 people, 10 parties come through the house, which is awesome. And they love to hear stuff like that. They like to know, okay, here's what happened, because they're curious. People are always curious. And we're just talking about open houses. And what's your name?
Tyson.
Tyson. Okay, cool. Have you been an agent for a little while?
Yeah, I was just not showing. Sorry.
Oh, cool.
I've only been there like 3 weeks.
Oh, so brand new as well. Okay, we're just talking about open houses, of course. You were at a showing. Congrats. Showings are always, that's good. That's always a good thing. Buyer or seller? I mean,
It's a
buyer, of
buyer.
course,
I'll
showings.
just do your favor for another agent.
Okay, good. It's always fun to get your feet wet, learn all the different aspects of being an agent. One of them is, of course, showings. The other is listings. Lead gen, what are we talking about today? Open houses. So we've talked about a few different sources, I would say, of go-to places to find open houses. If it's not your own listing, we have the KW Westfield Facebook page. You can go ahead and ask agents on there, hey, does anybody have any open houses to do? And this would be your opportunity to say, you know what, I'm free this Saturday. Most agents who are listing, again, they don't have time, or maybe they don't want to do open houses. Like to them, it's like, my time's better used somewhere else. Or maybe they have family stuff, that they don't have time. But an open house is always valuable. Of course, they want to always offer this service, but they don't always want to do it themselves. But if you guys want to, as newer agents, use this as a tool to get more leads, do it. It's one of the most powerful. Go ahead.
That's what I was gonna ask. So would I be able to get the leads for that, or do I have to get those to them? Because it's their
Good
house?
question. Yeah, good question, Julie. So I have never requested, if I have another agent host the open house for me, I've never requested from them that I want all the leads for myself. Are there agents who have done that? Yeah, I've heard of that, but it's not very common. Most agents, if they're not hosting the open house, why would they be entitled to the leads? Yeah, it is their listing, though they can do the open house. I think that's the value that you bring hosting the open house, is that you're hosting one for the sellers, right? Leads that are generated are probably because of you, because maybe it's because of the marketing that you're doing, or because you open up your mouth during that open house. So who's deserving of the lead? I would say the person who's hosting it. That's my opinion. Yeah. What's that? Yeah. Well, you know what? Reach out again, KW Westfield on their Facebook page. That's a popular one for people who Facebook. I don't know if we have an Instagram page or not. We should, because IG is probably one of the most popular places. But it doesn't really have, I would say, as easy of a platform to use just to say, hey, you know, is anybody hosting open houses like Facebook does? Each little social media, they have like their cool things. TikTok's popular too, but yeah, go ahead.
I know this is gonna sound stupid, but this is the insecure part of me. I'm gonna go and ask on there if I can go and host anybody's open houses for them. But would approaching it as, hey, I'm a new agent, I want the experience, or hey, I'm free. Like my schedule is free. So which one is the better approach? Because is an experienced agent gonna go, I don't want a newbie doing my open house,
Possibly.
or like, I don't want to set a weird name for myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't approach it in that way. I'd probably approach it at, hey, you know what? I have availability on Saturday. I would love to host your open house. Here are the things that I can do for you, and let them know things that we just barely discussed. And a lot of times the agents are like, oh man, yeah, of course I want you to do my open house, because I wasn't even thinking about those things. Or two, you know what? You actually sound like you know what you're doing. Yes, people usually don't want inexperienced agents to do the open houses because they feel like they're maybe going to miss out on something. But at the same time, sometimes they don't care because they just are happy to have an open house done. I'd probably go with the approach of, you know, yeah, maybe I'm a newer agent. However, I'm going to put all my energy into it. And agents are like, great. You could be a new agent or an existing agent, or experienced agent. It really depends on what effort you put into it. Let them know, hey, you know what, here are things that I'm going to go ahead and take care of while hosting the open house. Things that we just barely discussed. You know, I'm going to go ahead and bring something there. I'm going to offer a gift card. I'm going to make sure the temperature is right. I'm going to make sure that, you know, the place is better when I leave than when I found it. All these little things are going to trigger the listing agent saying, oh yeah, this person sounds like they know what they're doing, or I want them to host my open house. So these are all, you know, great ideas. So that's probably the way I'd approach it. Not necessarily just I'm a new agent.
With my first open house, whether it's my listing or someone else's, should I still have another agent or should I do it by myself?
Whatever you feel comfortable with. I'm going to pass the microphone over to you here, Julie. I feel like you are asking lots of good questions.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to put this right there. I'll put it right there just in case you can
I
talk into it.
bet this was a good open house.
No,
was
this
a
is
good class
excellent.
for me
I
because
love
I'm,
this. No, I love that you're asking
I
questions, because
brainstorm this.
these are all things that not just you have. There are other agents, I'm sure, that have similar questions. I'm glad that you're asking them. So Julia, sorry, what was that last question you said?
I don't know.
Maybe that'll trigger you.
If you should have another agent with you
Oh,
your first
yeah.
time.
Yeah. Yeah. So should I
Depends
have
on
my
your comfort
mentor with
level.
me or
Have you ever hosted an open house?
no? But I'm
Okay.
not afraid to.
Perfect. Okay. Well, you know what?
I'm not
That's why
afraid
we're
to
having
talk to
this
people.
class right here to kind of get an idea of, okay, here's what's expected.
Okay.
Here's what's recommended. If you feel comfortable saying, you know what? Okay, I'm ready. Let's go do it. Go do it. A lot of times agents start off as what? Solo agents. Sometimes some agents start off in teams. Depends on your comfort level. Depends on what you're feeling. Hey, you know what? I want to do this. And you just have to do one. After that first one, you're going, I got this. Maybe you make little tweaks here and there.
Okay.
But yeah, I wouldn't be afraid to do it yourself.
Well,
Try it.
when I used Supra the first time,
Yeah.
I was with a client and I literally was shaking because I felt like I was breaking and entering somebody's home. You know, I knocked before, I
Yeah.
unlocked the door, but I'm like,
there is so much liability that all of a sudden I am going into somebody else's private property with their personal belongings, and
Yeah.
there was a renter there that I was just like, oh, I have to do this right. I have to make sure that,
Yeah.
and thankfully the person I was with was my friend. So like there was that
So there's a comfort
comfortability.
level,
There was comfort
okay.
there. And she's laughing at because I was like, I'm shaking, so I can joke like that. But that's how, so I'm like, I'm not afraid to do things, but that's why I'm wondering like what the,
Okay, let me
Enormous.
ask you this.
Okay.
You showed a home. You used your Supra, right?
Mhm.
You open up a door. How do you feel today if you were to go open up a door? Do you feel better?
I feel better.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't have the shakes.
Well, not now.
Exactly.
We'll see when I get up to it.
Everybody's always better as they gain experience, right? So it's better just to get it out of the way.
Yeah.
Go host an open house. Go do it. And sometimes it is easy, just, hey, let's have another agent there. And then you feel more comfort. It's like a slowly, like, let me just, stick my toes in the water versus just diving in. However, it's just getting that first one out of the way. After that, it's like, okay, this is easy.
Okay. So if I go and host somebody else's open house, is it still up to the listing agent to do all the advertising for the open house?
Ask them. Each agent's different. I personally would recommend, if you were to host an open house yourself, I would recommend doing as much marketing as you possibly can, but ask the agent
Okay.
about, who's doing the marketing for it, and has there been any done? Sorry, go ahead.
I feel like if you're doing an open house for someone else,
Mhm.
you do your own ad, that's just a wider audience you're getting
Yeah.
to, even if they have their own.
I don't think they would ever oppose
See,
to that.
But
That's
because
great.
I'm not listing it, that's why I was wondering what.
Because it brings more people when they're listing.
Yeah, as long as
Okay.
it's tasteful, I don't
Right.
think a listing agent would ever refuse to have you market it additionally. That's just
Okay.
going to give their home more exposure.
Well, go ahead.
I don't think they would, because at that point, you're acting as a buyer's agent trying to bring their listing a buyer. And that's only gonna
Uh-huh.
benefit them. So, yeah, you're marketing it.
I'm marketing, trying to find a buyer for that. Okay, that's a good way to see that. Okay.
All right, let's jump back to this. We'll
Sorry.
go ahead and get through these. No, I love all these questions, though. I'm sure there's going to be some more. Dispel limiting beliefs. Okay, Tyler, why don't you go and read that first one? Yeah. Sorry.
Displaying limiting beliefs. I don't have a listing to hold it open.
Is it Tyson?
Yeah.
Tyson. What's the second one?
I don't have signed yet.
Okay. And Cash.
I might not know the answers to questions visitors have.
And Julie?
Open houses don't really work because most people look on
Something.
something.
I don't know. Open house
Wait.
really don't work because most people look on maybe the internet, or maybe they look
Yeah,
on.
It probably does say
Not sure.
online, because you're right.
Online,
Everybody just
yeah.
looks at the pictures.
Yep.
So. I won't feel safe.
Okay, so again, dispel limiting beliefs. We've already gone through a lot of these things, just talking about them. But one of them we haven't really maybe hit on yet. That is, I don't have signs yet. Where can we find signs?
The listing agent.
And what do the signs say?
Open house.
Open house, big arrows, right? Really simple. And what are they used for?
Directions.
Just direct people to the house. That's all it is. Super simple, super easy. Do any of you have any open house signs? We have plenty in the office, and it is up to the listing agent. They should be able to provide who's ever hosting the open house with all the signs. And if they don't, kick their butts and say, get some listing signs for me, or some open house signs, sorry.
You have plenty in the office that we can borrow?
Yeah, there's lots of agents around here who will just say, yeah, you can go ahead and use my open house signs. I'm for one of them. I mean, you're welcome to use my listing sign, my open house sign, sorry. I mean, if I'm not using them, they're just sitting there.
Okay.
Most agents have them. Most listing agents are just going to have open house signs. So just ask.
Okay.
Again, most of the agents here in the office are more than happy to help with anything you need, but definitely go to the listing agent first. That's number one. Some of these things are kind of silly, like I won't feel safe. That's not really an issue that much here anymore. However, in other places, it possibly could be, and they put that up there for a reason. There's been some weird situations, not necessarily here in Utah, but I'm sure it could happen to where somebody maybe doesn't feel safe going to an open house, or maybe the agent themselves don't feel safe hosting an open house alone. Okay. I feel comfortable. However, maybe another person doesn't feel comfortable to where you might want to have somebody there with you. Maybe it's a comfort thing. Have there been issues that have happened in the past? Yes. Not necessarily here in Utah, but they have happened in other places. So it is a thing. If you don't feel safe, get somebody over there with you and host an open house with somebody else. Are there any other questions with any of these? Yeah, no? You want to talk about? Yeah, go ahead.
Just a quick comment about the I don't feel safe one. I was at a showing yesterday, and it was similar to where they had a tenant in the house, and we were walking through the house. We'd been there for about 10 minutes, and then all of a sudden the guy walked out of the tenant walked out of the shower in a towel. So that was a little terrifying.
That is, you know what? There are some weird instances that can happen in real estate. We are unfortunately in a people industry. People do weird things. That is something that I would say that would terrify me as well. That's where you don't know. You have to be prepared for the unexpected sometimes too. I mean, I've gone to show a home and there wasn't supposed to be anybody there. The home is vacant. Knock on the door. There's some guy sitting in the bed doing things that I don't even want to talk about. And it's like, who are you? They don't belong there. They were just vagabonds or people who just occupy the home. They aren't supposed to be there. I've had people run outside the house before. They weren't supposed to be there. Weird things can happen. So you do have to be safe. Always have somebody maybe on call that say, you know what, I'm going to go show this house, or, hey, you know what, I'm hosting an open house. Make sure that they are aware of what you're doing. Just so you can always have a person to call.
Do you ever use the showing beacon on Showtime?
I haven't used that yet. Tell me about it.
So you set your time frame about however long you want, whatever duration. And then if you don't end your showing in Showtime and say that, yeah, I'm done, then it will automatically text your location to whoever you designate as a contact. So mine's my wife.
That is cool. I've not used that before. I mean, of course, I have my open house time scheduled. So then the time's listed, but I've never used that showing. It's called Showing Time Beacon.
Yeah, in Showtime or Showing Time.
Showing Time, yeah.
Yeah, there's your beacon.
That is cool. Okay, you guys, write that down. That's something I just learned today. I've never seen that before, and I love that. That is brilliant. That is brilliant. So how do you know when you end, or how do they know when you end the open house?
And
that you're safe?
Go back into the app and say, okay,
and you say, okay, that is cool. Okay, open house beacon. Anything else on here? No? All right. Let's see here. Capture leads. We talked about how important open houses are. Again, who benefits? All of us. We all benefit. Open houses are valuable. I remember when I started in this business, open houses were said, oh, that's not really a thing. We don't really host open houses. It's not something that we actually do. Contrary, oh my gosh, it is one of the best ways to capture leads. I just said, hey, you know what? I want to host an open house. I started it. I was like, you know, I've got to start this because it is so valuable. And the very first one, it's like I started capturing leads and started closing deals and businesses. Then all of a sudden it started saying, hey, you know what? Maybe we should start doing open houses. It wasn't a thing always here. I mean, it was bizarre that they weren't hosting open houses as often as they do now. Now it's almost mandatory. Each house you want to do one. Can homes sell before an open house gets done? Yeah, that happens. Does that happen to you, Cash?
Yep, I had two open houses last weekend for the same property. One was Friday and Saturday, and they went under contract on Thursday. So
yeah, man, that happened to me. It's so frustrating because it's like I want to be able to market this home. This home's a great location, right? Great neighborhood. Everything was great about it. I said no showings until the open house, period. Agents called me, hey, can I? No, because the sellers didn't want any showings until the open house. Finally, an agent said, hey, you know what? If I send you an offer and the sellers accept it, and I said, well, if they accept an offer, then of course, you know, if they send in an offer, you're kind of obligated as an agent, you know, to give it to the sellers. Well, they send in an offer that my sellers can refuse. Lo and behold, before the open house even happened, the sellers accepted an offer. It happens. It's a thing. In this market right now, it happens. Unfortunately for me as an agent, I don't get to take advantage of marketing that home as much as I want to and capturing as much, of the leads that I could have. But that's okay. That's just part of the business. Again, everybody benefits from an open house. And benefits of open houses, we went through them. What are some of the expenses you have hosting an open house?
Water.
Okay. Water, treats, yeah. Maybe an Amazon gift card. That was a great idea, Cash. Okay, so relatively inexpensive, right? To go ahead and host an open house. The other is a prospecting tool. Yeah, we just talked about that. It's a lead gen tool we use to go ahead and capture leads. Open houses are phenomenal. Make sure you keep a list of everybody who walks through that house, because those are the people you're going to follow up with. They might not buy that house, but more than likely they're either going to buy a house or they're going to list a house. So that's a good tool also to make sure you keep high ROI. What does that mean?
High return on investment.
Mm-hmm. So you're investing what?
Your
Time, a little bit of money, maybe just a little bit.
Your marketing. That's
Mm-hmm.
something you spend on.
Your marketing, it's exactly right. Your marketing. So this is your marketing money, high ROI. Without a doubt, probably one of the best tools you'll ever have. Why? Because a lot of these open houses can be free to you. I mean, you don't necessarily have to even be the one listing the property. You can just be out saying, hey, you know what? I'm willing to host an open house. And most sellers are going to say, or the agents will say, yeah, go host an open house. Why? Because they want to sell the home. And it makes them look good to the sellers if they're able to host an open house. Most sellers are saying, yeah, they'll definitely do that. Great. So, and then qualified leads. We just had, it was Melissa who just here. Okay. I love First Colony Mortgage. They're great. They're right here in our office, right? They're willing to go out and host open house with you. So that's not just another person who can go with you, maybe a little safety there, but also they can pre-approve folks who come through the home. It adds just additional depth to your open house because you get somebody there who can talk numbers. Most people like numbers, right? Who likes to know what a house payment is? Yeah, most people walk through the home do. It's like, how much is this house going to cost me? Am I even pre-approved? That's exactly something they can answer for you. And they're licensed. So they're going to be able to tell you exactly what they're in for. So that's really important. So qualified leads. These are all important factors as far as an open house goes. That's going to benefit you as agents. Okay, let's talk about ahas. Something you've learned from what we just talked about today. Go ahead.
I think the first thing you talked about was like wearing the shirt or having something that
Yeah.
starts a conversation or grabs attention somehow. I think that's a smart thing, and
It's easy. Yeah, it might be a weird shirt to some people, but you know what? It's an attention getter. It's a conversation starter. And that's always something that you want to say, hey, you know what? Yeah, I might be a little bit loud right now. But let's talk about it. There might be like, hey, you know what? That reminds me of Hawaii. Or you know what? I used to live in Guam. Who knows? Somewhere where they have pineapples. Probably Hawaii. And like, tell me a little about it. Okay, great. You're from Kauai. That is so cool. Or you've always wanted to visit there. Who knows? Okay, so that's one aha. What's another aha you guys learned today? Good.
I think it's cool that First Colony,
Yeah, First Colony.
that they do an open house with you, because like some people walk through like, I don't even know if I have approved for this house, but I have this person right here.
Exactly. So true. That does happen. There are a lot of folks who go to open houses because it's convenient. Oh, it's just down the road. I want to go look at it. They don't have a clue. They don't have a clue of what to do sometimes. And when you can get somebody there who's, able to help them out, absolutely. That's definitely a good thing. And any other ahas?
I'm gonna go home and eat all of my cookies.
I'm not going to take them to the open house. That's it. Okay. You can go cook them at the house so it smells good. It's going to get people's hopes up. Oh, sorry, there's no cookies. I ate them all. I'm just kidding. No, but it does make a home smell good. You're right. I don't know. That's just been my transition in the mortgage in the real estate business, is just knowing that there's some things that are safer than others to have as part of an open house. Cookies are just one that I've kind of taken back. Go, Julie.
So how much money as the agent are you willing to invest in the open house? So let me explain my thoughts.
Oh.
So I'm thinking, okay, the smell thing, and I love to gift,
Mhm.
and my husband's wallet doesn't like that.
Mhm.
So it's easy for me to go and I want to provide this and this and this and this because this is just what I
You
like
want
to
to have
do.
a phenomenal open house.
So I would love to something like I would love to go get as a gift.
Mhm.
You know, if we do this open house, I will provide a little plug-in, and then
A
I'll
little Glade plug-in or something. Yeah.
I was gonna do a Scentsy, but I guess that would
Essentially,
work
yeah,
too.
whatever. Yeah. Just.
But
Yeah.
so here's my question. Is something like that something that instead of offering it for them to keep and you just every listing, every house, or do you take it out, plug it back
question.
in, take it out, plug it back in? What do you
That's an
reuse?
excellent question. I think that should be part of your toolbox as an agent.
Okay.
You should have something that exactly you walk in, you plug it into the wall, you take it with you when you leave.
Okay.
Make the home smell good. It comes with you. You know what? You're hosting this house.
Okay.
You are going to make it phenomenal. And you know what? I'm going to have Julie host all my open houses. Why? Because I know whenever she hosts one, people say, you know what? It smells so good here. It feels good. It feels comfortable. And you know what? My kids are all taken care of. This is a reputation you're building.
Okay.
So I would say it should be part of your toolbox. You should have like a little box of, hey, this is my open house box. Maybe you have open house signs with that. You have like a little kid corner. Maybe you have an iPad. You invest money into your business because it's your business.
Again, my husband's wallet's not going to like this. I need to sell a house.
Maybe you do a little at a time, and you know, you just add to it.
Hey,
And you can ask the listing agent for stuff too.
full disclosure, my husband has been absolute biggest supporter. He has not
Good.
complained once. So I
Good.
may joke like that, but he
No, I
is
know. I'm
my biggest advocate. So
good. Well, you know, I think that's great. I think, yes, investing in your business is without question one of the smartest things you'll ever do. And identifying the items you guys can invest in is going to be key to your success as well. Both time as well as tools you can add to you as an agent, build your reputation, build your strength as an agent. Put together a little go-to section for your, hey, whenever I host an open house, this is what I do. Bam, 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 done. You already know exactly what to do. You're going to get there early. You're going to go knock doors. You're going to have a flyer done. You're going to make the house smell good. You're going to turn the temperature a little bit, make it feel really warm and cozy inside. Maybe you have like a little box where you have water. So you have some snacks for kids to snack on. Maybe you have like a little kid box. All these little things are going to be part of your open house toolbox. Make sure you have like an iPad, for example, that you can just take with you. People just write their information or they can go ahead and type it in.
that's what I was going to ask you.
yeah, okay.
What is more efficient for people? Would they rather type it or write it?
I personally like to type it for them. I don't like them to do it themselves. I
Oh.
personally like to. I just like to get them to give me the information verbally.
So you
I
just
personally
do
like
it
to
on your computer?
I do it right on my iPad.
Okay.
One, it makes me look like, oh, he kind of is more up-to-date agent.
Okay.
He does it on his iPad versus just by hand, pen and paper. Again, you can have all sorts of people walk through the house. Some people are like, oh, I don't feel comfortable with that because they aren't up to date with technology. Most people are like, oh yeah, that makes sense. They need to get with the times anyway. I like to do it just because then I can get the information. I can put in whatever notes I need to about the person. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, how do you get people like sign off sheet? Because a lot of people are hesitant. Or they like, I don't know, I've heard some agents say that they like scribble their name so you can barely read it.
Yeah, so that's where I also like to put in their information. You know, I mean, I have my cousins Guido and Vince come with me. They say, you're going to break your legs, you know, if you don't sign it. No, I don't have them do that. What I have them do is just like, again, we talked about maybe offering a gift card, an Amazon $50 gift card. Whoever comes in today, we're going to be giving this away. It could be you. You might want to put in your correct information. I like to do it myself because, again, I get to be legible. I like to know exactly, you know, who is coming through the house. Sellers want to know. So I just let people know, hey, you know what? Sellers want to know who comes through the house. I've had people say no initially, but then I explain to them, hey, you know what? Sellers need to know who comes through their house. One, you're imposing on the sellers by walking through their home. You better give up your name and number because they're going to want to know like who's all been through here. If you don't want to be followed up with, you don't have to be. However, this is something that the sellers have requested for you to walk through their home to take a look at it. They at least need to know a name and number.
Well, And I think something to reference too, though, is they don't have to have that. You don't have to turn that over to them. That is for liability. So
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
saying,
Yep. For liability.
if something happens,
Yep.
I can
Yep.
turn it over.
Exactly.
Because no, they don't have to know that. And I don't need everybody knowing who, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, I like to
liability.
explain it in that the fact that they're coming through the home, a seller likes to know who's all been through the house. Because if there is something that goes missing, they need to know. And so that's another reason. Go ahead.
So when we did like the Amazon gift card,
Mhm.
then when it had like the number spot, then who I was with, they were like, hey, if you don't feel comfortable putting your number, you can put like your agent's number. If you have your
Oh yeah, of
agent.
course. Yes. If they have an agent, I usually have them put their agent's information in because if they're working with an agent, they're kind of off limits to us.
Right. And then you can, like,
That's just
contact
the
them.
ethical nature of our business is, yep, exactly. Yeah, go ahead and put in the agent's number. They feel way comfortable about that. So usually I have them mark yes or no with an agent. If they want to put in their own number, they can. But usually I prefer to follow up with the agents anyway, just because, that's one less thing I have to worry about. Like, you're contacting me instead of my agent. That's probably not a good thing to do. That's good. Good. But yeah, did that answer your question? Okay, good, Tyson. Okay, any other questions? Any other ahas you guys have gotten today so far? Julie, I know you have another question. I know, I feel it. Let's see what else there is here.
I'm actually racking my brain trying to come up with another one.
Okay, we talked about best practices, right? We've gone through, okay, how do we host an open house? Where do we find open houses? But once we do have an open house, like, okay, you know what? Brad, you want me to host an open house for you? Great. We ask them maybe, do you have open house signs? Great. Have you already started marketing this open house? Is there a specific time you want me to go over there? Because most listing agents have already had this discussion with the owners of the home. And they've already decided on a time and a date of when this open house needs to take place. There's not a lot you have to do other than if you want to market it, but you got to find that information out. So you're going to ask the listing agent, okay, what has already been done? And so some of the best practices we just reviewed, here's how we host an open house. Do any of you have a question about hosting an open house right now? Julie, please. I love it.
I'm sorry.
No, I want to know.
Okay, so this is kind of a stupid question, but at the same time, it's going through my brain. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I have no problem going and doing somebody else's open house. Okay. The normal practice when it comes to another agent doing somebody else's open house is more of a friendly gesture, right? Like not a referral fee, not like that, but like, does that make sense?
Yeah, I would say the benefit to an agent who is not listing the home of doing an open house is like we had
Just
talked about, maybe
leads.
capturing leads.
Okay. I just want to make
That's
sure
probably the
that's what the
biggest thing.
common practice is, because I have no problem doing it because I understand that could turn into awesome revenue for me.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
But I just want to make
So
sure that
lead
that's what
capturing
the
system.
normal is, because it's really easy for me to get taken advantage of because I'm really friendly.
Okay. Well, Julie, you need to set your ground saying, you know what, I'm happy to host an open house. However, I get to keep the leads that I generate through the open house. Most agents are going to be like, okay, that's not a big deal. Are there going to be people who go through an open house who have agents? Absolutely. Are there going to be some who go through the open house who don't have agents? Yeah, there are those too. And a lot of times,
People do have agents though, don't they?
what's that?
Most people do have agents, huh?
Probably most, yes. But let's say you have 10 people walk through the home. Let's say 9 of them have agents. One of them doesn't.
What impact can I make?
Exactly. 3 hours of your time, maybe you got a really good lead. And maybe that lead leads to lots of business. That's happened to me before, like so many times. I've like one lead turns into like 3 or 4 deals. Oh, you know, actually I need to sell a house. Oh, I actually need to buy a house. You know, actually my son needs to buy a house too. Oh, they also need to build. It's happened so many times. I can't even tell you how awesome open houses are to generate leads. This is a huge resource, you guys. Don't let it go unused, because it's easy to just say, oh yeah, I'll just do it sometime. No, get on the computer, start contacting agents, find out, you know, who's listing a house, who needs an open house done. Most listing agents, they usually don't want to host their own open houses. They get lazy, they get busy. Maybe they're hosting more than, maybe they can only do one open house at a time, but they're listing 3 or 4 houses. It's a thing.
Boo-hoo, you have plenty of listings.
Not everybody, but it does happen. So
Right.
just be aware, just be ready, willing, and able to host an open house. You guys already have an idea of what there is. Go ahead.
What happens if if you have somebody come through the open house that's unrepresented,
Mhm.
and you have your lender there,
Mhm.
you get them with the lender, they get pre-qualified
Mhm.
right there on the spot, and then you write an offer on that home for that buyer.
That's phenomenal. Heck yeah, absolutely. Can it happen? Absolutely. Yes, it can. It can. I've had lots of, I would say, one hit wonders. You show them one house, list it, or excuse me, they buy it. I mean, that was as far as the buyer's agent goes. As far as a listing agent, that's a little bit different, because if you're not hosting an open house, somebody else is, and somebody walks in unrepresented, they want to buy the house. Yeah, why not? Yeah. Can that happen? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Julie.
So, this goes back to the more legal standpoint, like when we're gonna offer, hey, I've got these lenders, here's 3 because we're more so required. And I'm not, this is just background.
Yeah.
So if you've got your lender there with you doing the open house, I don't know how to.
Is there legal liability with that?
Because that's one, and
Mhm.
not me offering 3 because I only have 1 here.
They are coming there as a partner with you to go ahead and host the open house, right?
Okay.
So there's no legal liability because you're not obligating the buyer to use them. That's just a service. They just happen to be there at a convenience.
Okay.
Can they still contact others? Yeah, absolutely. And just say, this person's here. They wanted to come host this open house with me. Great. There's nothing wrong with that at all. You probably have noticed a lot of real estate agents as well as lenders. Sometimes they will co-host an ad, right? They'll go ahead and put an ad out there together. That happens all the time. And, we had a go-to lender when I was working. I used to work on a team here called Red Sign Team, and loved them to death. We had a lender who we used all the time, and we would advertise with them all the time. Why? Because they would pay for half the advertisement. So we would pay for the other half, or they would pay for the whole advertisement, which is really convenient. And so, yeah, we would go ahead and direct people to them. But at the same time, legally, we had to offer them at least 3 names and numbers, and that's okay too. But just the pure convenience of them, and you could spin it however you want to. Like, hey, you know what? Use these guys because they're working as part of my team. It's going to be really fast and easy to use them. They're here, they're already taking names and numbers. Go ahead and give them your information. And sometimes they feel comfortable because they're able to meet somebody face to face.
And maybe, I guess, another thing on that legal part of it is I have their business cards of the other people. Be like, look, I'm offering 3 people. This one's here, so it's your choice.
That's
That way,
up to you.
It's a legal standpoint, so
Yeah, I'm not going to get into that too much in detail.
Why?
You can bring around business cards of other agents if you want to, but other lenders. I usually just send everything via text. I have their text names and numbers, and I send it to them. I don't really carry on business cards, but that's just me personally. You can if you want. If you're going to carry around a bunch of them, you can do that. There's no problem with that at all. I just don't personally do it. Oh, in the toolbox. Yeah. You can go ahead.
So in the open house.
Yeah, you can have like three different lenders and say, hey, you know what? Here's 3 different lenders.
But I've got one right here.
Yep.
So I'm saying, that's why I'm saying the legal standpoint.
Oh, yeah. You can.
I'm still offering you 3. You've got one at your.
I usually just text them. I just say, hey, here's a list of 3 different names and numbers, and here's one. I just don't carry on business cards. Yeah. I just don't carry on business cards personally, but you can. You 100% can. Okay, so set goals. First one is, again, set goals of, hey, you know what? I want to go ahead and knock 50 doors. So go ahead and set those goals. I think that's important. Go ahead.
Can I ask a question about knocking doors?
Yeah.
When do you do it right before? Like, what's best practice for that? Right before your open house? The day before?
Good question. I usually do it a day before, and I just invite people out. Hey, I'm going to be hosting an open house tomorrow, and I'd love for you guys to come out and take a look at this house. It's your neighbor's house. Have you guys ever thought about buying or selling? And say, oh yeah, maybe, or just selling. Then great. What does your dream home look like? You could have a conversation about all sorts of subjects related to real estate that could help spur their mind to want to talk more with you. But yeah, I usually go the day before. So let's say on Saturday, I'm hosting an open house. I'll go out Friday and I'll knock doors.
Evening.
Makes sense.
Usually evening, yeah, because most people are going to be home from work. Most people work during the day. So I'll usually go between like 4 and 6.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Good question. Yeah, good question. So definitely set goals. I mean, goals are always going to help you just push a little bit harder, maybe get to where you want to be. Maybe, hey, I want to knock, 50 doors, or hey, I want to give out 100 flyers, or whatever it is. Just set some goals for yourself. Pick the house. Of course, we've talked about that, how to pick a house. Either it's your own listing or you're going to find the listing. We have lots of agents here in the office. We have over 300 agents here. Not all of them are listing all the time, but we have quite a few agents who are willing to, have an open house done for them. Prepare and practice. We just talked about that. Again, learning some scripts is always valuable. You have people who want to come through the house. Asking the right questions is going to spur a conversation. Wearing a weird shirt like what I'm wearing right now, spur a conversation. It's just an attention getter, and it's going to help make you memorable, because people are going to be like, oh yeah, I remember that guy. Oh yeah, he hosted open houses. He's wearing that weird shirt. It had pineapples on it. I don't know why. Someone wearing it upside down. I don't know why. And this one, I can't see what that one says right there.
I'm
That
having
one says pick the time.
Pick the time.
Yeah.
Okay, pick the time. Yeah, obviously we're going to pick a time for open houses. And prepare stats. Now, prepare stats. That could be the stats of how likely is this home to sell. It could be stats of, hey, you know what? Here's how many people have come through open houses that are buying. Let sellers know kind of what the expectations are. Again, that's going to be up to the listing agent. We're just hosting the open house.
Could that be like market stats for the?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it could be. Yeah, exactly. Market stats. So when people do come through the house, you can go ahead and say, you know what? This home, is likely going to sell within 4 days or 6 days, or, this home is underpriced by $20,000 according to the market stats. I don't know what this one says. Be safe. Oh yeah, be safe. We've talked about that. Maybe that showing time beacon. That's a good tool. I think that's pretty cool. I had never heard of that in my entire life. Is it new?
I don't know. I'm new, so I don't know. It's new to me.
Okay, be safe. Use the buddy system. Arrive early, park on the street, check all interest. So these are all things you can do to be safe, obviously. Your cell phone is fully charged. Local COVID guidelines. COVID is a thing, but it's not as strong as it used to be a couple of years ago. I mean, you guys, we've all been through it. Pretty crazy times. That's all I can say. Follow market center guidelines and checklists. I would definitely have something on your iPad, or even if it's pen and paper, that's fine too. Just capture their information. This is a valuable time to capture information. Lead capturing is what it is. Any more ahas?
It's not an aha, but I'm having a brain fart. Which one's first, pre-qualify or pre-approve?
Technically pre-qualified, they're both generally in the same area, but
No, but one
pre-qualified
the
is just,
deeper one. Which one's the one?
pre-approval is more deep.
Okay.
Pre-qualified is just someone, hey, you know what? I have a job that pays $20 an
Okay,
hour.
good.
I have
Yeah.
pretty good credit.
But
Great.
the approval is the actual, okay.
Pre-approval is when they actually pull credit.
Yeah.
Possibly even verify employment. They look at your tax returns. They actually look at stuff.
Right.
That's really important.
I knew
Pre-approval is
that
strong.
I couldn't remember, like, I know
Yeah.
what each of them does, but I couldn't remember the name of, I was swapping.
Yeah.
So-
Qualify is just like, okay, great.
Yeah.
A lot of lenders will easily provide you with a pre-qualified letter. Oh yeah, your buyer's pre-qualified. That's great. Pre-approval is just stronger. That's typically where they just verify credit. Credit is probably going to be the biggest one. Then of course income follows right in suit with that right after. Okay, prepare, prospect, pursue. Testing, why don't you go and read that?
The difference between big and really big is how you manage your time.
Okay. So being efficient and just preparing for really big, you just have to prepare for it. And you can use your time wisely, just prepare for it. That's good. I mean, Gary Keller, he's again, the god of real estate. So I mean, look what he's built. This empire is insane. It's insane. Prepare, prospect, pursue. Open house is done before the day of the open house. Prepare your mindset, practice conversations. It says most of the work is done before the open house. True or not true?
True.
All the marketing is done typically before the open house begins. You're going to be knocking doors before the open house begins. Almost everything is going to be set in place before the open house, but you do have to have the right mindset. So when you go into an open house, what kind of mindset should you have? Open-minded, maybe ready to have conversations. I mean, prepare yourself for conversations with folks, right? And there aren't a lot of objections that are going to come up in open houses, but it's always good to have objection handlers readily available in your mind. Oh, this house is listed for way too much. Well, really, like who's to say it's too much? The market dictates the price. Us agents, we will list a home, and perhaps you're not even the one listing the home, but you're going to market the home. And somebody can put in an offer for whatever amount that they want. They can put it in for, $100,000 for a $250,000 house. They can if they want. Would they get it? Probably not, but they have the right to do that. And just because it's listed at a certain price does not mean there's anything wrong with the price that it's being listed at. It just means that's who they're marketing to, right? I had a listing who the market was telling me, just the stats were telling me that is worth maybe 700 to 750,000, right? Well, we decided, we're not in a rush. The market here is it's a little bit different. I don't know where it is, but we're going to go ahead and list it a little bit high because we want to get the higher end buyers. Sometimes you list it a little bit higher than what the market says to get those high end buyers, especially if somebody's not in a rush. So we listed it for $899, right? $100,000 more than what the market was saying. I mean, well over $100,000 more. What did that do? Doesn't always happen, but opened up the door to higher end buyers thinking, oh, wait a minute here. This is a little bit higher end. Maybe this is something I should look at. A lot of times those people don't even pay attention to smaller priced homes. It sounds weird, but it's true. And so what it did, it opened up the door and they're going, oh, you know what? I'd pay easily $1 million for that house. Why? Because they're already looking at that market, but they were thinking, oh, if it's only worth $799, they may not even been interested. They might think, oh, then this house maybe isn't worth so much. But they're asking $899, maybe it's worth a little bit more than that. All of a sudden open up the door and it's like, bam, it goes under contract for over $1 million, just like that. It's like, it's weird. Market is weird. We don't always know what a home is going to sell for until it is sold. So just be prepared in this market that we're in right now. Anything is possible. It's very fortunate for us as agents because we get to live it. We're experiencing it right now. So don't be shy. It's good to have stats available, but follow your seller's leads sometimes. They a lot of times will say, hey, you know what? This is where we feel comfortable with. It's okay. It might be a little bit high, and you know what? They're going to realize it after those precious first 2 weeks of it being on the market that, maybe I priced a little too high. Or maybe they might be like, hey, bam, you know what? It's actually worth a lot more than that to somebody else. Because we aren't the minds of all the other buyers. All we can do is just present it to them. And they're going to go ahead and pay attention. And, it's up to them to go ahead and wake up and look at what we have to offer. So prepare, prospect, pursue. Again, prepare your mindset. We talked about that in open houses. So here's a breakdown, a list of what to do. Yeah, let's see here. Cash, why don't you go ahead and start there?
Monday, select the house.
Okay. Julie, what are we going to do on Tuesday?
Post online, walk the neighborhood, invite neighbors to showing.
Okay. Yeah, so you can do that on Tuesday too.
Post online again, install yard sign.
Okay. So you're going to post it online again, maybe a little bit of additional marketing.
Do you post in the same groups or do you post in different groups every day?
I would probably post it in different groups every single day.
Okay.
I mean, do like 5 different social medias, but like do the same ones every single day. Just to, hey, we're leading up to it maybe. Or maybe you do it every other day. I don't know. I don't know if there's like a formula that's best.
Yeah, that's what I'm just saying, like repeat it in the same group. I mean, yeah, have the same, that's fine. Use the same ad, whatever, but post it in
Maybe different times. Meaning like you do one at like 8 a.m., one at 4 p.m., one at 11 p.m. Maybe you try that.
Okay.
Well, what are you gonna do Thursday?
Post online again.
Yep.
Invite
Okay, so these are all the people in your database. Are each one of you collecting a database? Do you guys have a database? This is the heart of your business. You have to have a database. Make sure you have it somewhere safe, because this is your business going forward, and you're just going to add to it every single day. Okay, Friday.
Post online again, prepare market statistics, print flyers, and door knock.
Door knock. Okay. So even though you're going to be inviting neighbors here, a lot of times it's just going to be done via phone calls. Door knock. That's a big deal. That's where we're going to go door to door. We're going to take flyers around. And if they're not home, a lot of times I leave flyers. I leave flyers right at the door. Why? Because people aren't there, or they don't want to answer the doors. I mean, that's how my wife is. She will not answer the door for anybody except for the Amazon man. That's it. The only person she answers the door for. And they're not there for more than a second anyway, just drop package off. But door knock is a big deal. You got to have flyers too, because people want to know who's been through the house. And you know, a lot of times they don't know until you knock on the door or leave a flyer. That's a big deal. So this is preparing for the open house the week before, and what clients like to know. Here we go. So gather information about the house as much as you can. Maybe, you know, what are the nearest schools? Are there any communities like parks? Are there, you know, is there a swimming pool close by? All those kind of things are important. Relocation information, first time home buyer specifics, mortgage information. This is where, you know, it might be a good idea. Say, hey, you know what, First Colony, why don't you guys come over and host this with me? Again, a lot of times they're ready, willing, and able to go host it with you. Might as well have a professional there. That says a lot. That's a big deal. Or Intralend, or whoever, you know, whoever you guys want to have go over there. Prospect, build trust, rapport, provide value, capture information, qualify leads. Again, we already talked about how to capture information. You guys are all going to carry either an iPad or notepad and pen. Always capture people's information. Greet everyone comes in the door. Always, always, always be there to greet people. So I try not to leave that front door area. Why? Because that's going to be the first place people are going to see. You know, they're going to walk through the door. If you're there to greet them, that's great. And that's to be expected.
Do you, and this may be depending on the house, bring a card table to put stuff on, or do you use their kitchen table? Depending on the house.
Good question. Yeah. I have never brought a card table with me. I usually use whatever's there to go ahead and put my information on. I usually use like the kitchen table, or maybe an island there to go ahead and post. Oh yeah, sometimes I'll have my iPad there or a computer. I'll go ahead and list information about the house, or I'll go ahead and print out little information, maybe right off the MLS with my information on it. I'll have it there readily available for them to see, so they can grab it and walk through the house.
What if it's
Snacks
empty?
and stuff. What's that?
What if it's empty? What if it's vacant?
The home?
No table. Yeah. Do you bring your own table?
I've never brought my own table before, but usually they
You sit
have.
on the floor?
No, I usually put it like on the kitchen counter. Most places have kitchen counters,
Oh, duh.
and so that's where I'll have it. No, that's fine. No, there are some places that don't, that are vacant. This is 100% true. I've never had that problem before, but it's always good. I mean, if you want, you can always carry a card table with you inside the car, but usually just using whatever you have is the best practice. That way it's less for you to, you know, have to, you know, take around. Again, engage in conversation, open your mouth. Everybody walks through the door. You have to greet them. Open up your mouth, find out what their situation is. Why are you here? Where are you coming from? Why did you choose this? I'm just kidding. No. But like, you guys can just find out what their situation is by asking them, you know, are they buyers? Are they sellers? Are they investors? You're going to get all sorts of people walking through houses. Be positive. Again, you know, whatever it takes for you to get in that positive mood, do it. If you guys need to listen to affirmations, listen to affirmations. If you guys need to sit in front of a mirror and give yourself affirmations, I am the best open house agent in the office. Whatever it is, do it. Be positive. If you want to listen to music out in your car, just jamming away, you know, whatever it is, do it. Get yourself in the right mindset, because this is going to be critical right here. Is be positive. People want to talk to positive people, right? And they want to talk to people who open up their mouths. Provide value. Again, know your team stats, know your market stats, understand personality types, have something to offer the visitors. We already talked about each one of these. Do you have any questions about any of these right here? Understand personality types. That's pretty interesting. Have you guys talked about that yet? Okay, good. Yeah, everybody has different personality types, and understanding who you're talking to, maybe it can lend, a benefit to your conversations. Are they decision makers? Are they people who are just like to socialize? You don't want to spend too much time with one specific person when you're hosting an open house. Why? Because everybody needs to be greeted. Everybody needs to have their information gathered. So make sure that's key. That's number one. Can you spend time with specific people? Yes, you can. Those maybe that are not there with an agent. That's who I'd probably spend my time with. Who else would you spend time with? Neighbors, good. Yeah, because they're not there typically with an agent, right? Or why? Because they might want to sell their home. That might lead you to another listing. It's good. So spend your time wisely. Identify those people that you should be spending your time with and that are going to probably benefit you the most or your sellers the most. Okay, we talked about how to capture them, have a sign-in sheet, use command, use the KW app. I've never used the KW app to capture leads. Usually I just have everything, I collect it all, and then I can go ahead and put it in my KW command. But I usually don't have it open there at open houses, me personally. I just want to have something as fast as possible. But again, I like to enter the information. I don't like to have somebody scribble it in, like Tyson was saying, I want to be able to read it later and be able to maybe to take notes too. Like, yes, follow up with, or, no, they already have an agent. Don't spend too much time with them. Yeah, let's see here. Do I remember there is to get leads appointments? Yep. Ask questions, follow up, and convert leads after open houses. This is huge, is the follow-up. After an open house, maybe nothing transpired at the open house, but that doesn't mean something isn't going to transpire with that particular individual. Again, remember the people who don't have agents. Those who have agents, probably not a good idea to follow up with them. However, you can follow up with the agent to find out, what gauge the interest level of the buyer. Because a lot of times they'll have valuable feedback. Why? Because they just barely walked through the house. They might have said, you know what, we liked everything except for we noticed that there was a broken faucet in the bathroom. Oh yeah, you know what, I forgot about that. The sellers, they never go into that bathroom, but I'll tell them to update that. There might be just little things. You are offering your sellers information, valuable information that's going to help them sell their home a little bit easier. So that's something else. So gather information. So you're going to gather, follow up with all attendees, reevaluate the goals you set. Okay. Any questions with these? No. Okay. Plan an open house. Okay. Do you guys already have an open house in mind for this weekend?
Yes.
You do. Awesome. Cash. Tell me about it. Where's it at?
Saratoga Springs. I'm actually doing it with Tyler, right?
Tyler. Okay. Wow. You guys are doing it together.
Yes, sir.
Use the buddy system.
What's that?
Is it a duplex?
Or
maybe that's a different concept.
Yeah, I actually don't know, to be honest.
Okay. Well, you guys have an open house already. That's the very first step. Now you guys are going to go ahead and prepare this week. Today we're at Wednesday. Okay. What are you guys going to do for it?
It's supposed to go live tomorrow on the MLS.
Oh, that's exciting.
And so once we do that, then I can get all the stuff. I get a lender that's going to come be there with us.
Awesome.
And they offered to print off all the door knocking flyers. So we're gonna, as soon as it goes live, then we'll send that over to them, and then we can get some flyers. And Friday we'll go knock some doors.
Bam, I love it. Okay, you guys, that's awesome. That I would like to hear what happens with it personally. Okay, cool. Julie, do you have anything set up yet?
So I've already texted my lender friend,
Okay.
asked her if she was available this weekend
Mhm.
because I want to go and try to find somebody to let me host their open house.
I love it. Okay.
And so she's already said yes, so she's open. So I've got to just go and now
Now,
find somebody
yeah,
to bribe and say, can I?
I love it. Absolutely love it. Okay.
So,
Where's a place you can go to find an open house, an
Well-
agent who will have you host one for them?
so I was just pulling up the KW app, but I was also thinking about, what about if I just asked on Slack?
Yeah, Slack. That's great. Yep. The Slack is another place I forgot. There's
Okay.
Slack too. Yep.
I feel like
Okay,
everyone probably is
good.
going to see Slack before they see.
Maybe. Yeah. Slack's great. Actually, I have my Slack silenced just because there's too many messages on it. But again, you can go visit it just like Facebook.
Right.
You just go visit it. And again, you have a question that's going to be pending on there, like, hey, okay, does anybody have an open house I can
Yeah.
host for them, or anybody have a
Um,
listing I can open that
on Slack. They have all like the rooms and stuff, or channels or whatever. What would you put it in? What
I don't
would
know all the channels, honestly. I don't know all
I
the channels.
see not tech, maybe the random, there's the market insight.
So
there's
you
this-
are in pursuit of the open house. You find the open house. That's the first step. You find it. It sounds like you already have the time set aside. You have a lender who's willing to go with you. That's your job. As of today, you're going to go find an open house. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So I'm
do
just
it.
saying, but on here, I don't want to go and ask in the wrong channel.
I
Or
don't know all the channels, so I can't help you
I'll
there.
just go on the Facebook group and
you just. do
The
it on
the
Facebook
KW
group.
Westfield, go in there and just ask. There's gonna be lots of agents. In fact, go around the office here and just ask the agents who are here. Say, hey, do you guys have
Okay.
any open houses I can go to? Red Sign, I know they're always having open houses, or they're always having
Well, I don't
listings.
want to go to, I want to host it.
No. Go ask them if you can host it.
Okay.
They will probably say yes. There's gonna be an agent who says yes. Okay, Catherine, do you have an open house?
No, but I will right after the class.
I want you to go find one, okay?
Mhm.
Find one. Okay, Tyson, you too. Okay, this is your goal. You guys need to find a home that you guys can host an open house for, okay? This is huge. This is a big deal. Okay, good. Do it. You got this, man. We just talked about it as well. And you kind of have a layout of exactly what's to be expected and what's going to make your open house stand out. So that's a big deal.
You know what I
Okay,
mean? Like,
cool.
I wanted to
Okay, I
make
love it.
sure that-
You guys are all gonna plan an open house. I love this. For those who don't have an open house, you guys are gonna find one. And we talked about the ahas. Let's see here. Open house best practices, benefits of an open house, prepare, prospect, pursue. Do you have any questions about open houses? Julie, I'm coming to you in just a minute. I know, I see that. Okay.
There are some classes that I'm really quiet in, some
Yeah.
classes that I can talk in, but I probably talked the most in this one because I've had a lot of questions about open houses because they intrigue me. I'm
Well, they're not spoken about as often as maybe some of the other subjects. They're very simple, very easy, but you have to put together a system that works for you. Each one of you are going to have your own little identity you guys find in the open houses and what's going to work for you. Find that. Put together a system. I love what each one of you guys have added to this conversation. This has been phenomenal. Each one of us, I feel, has added something to make it a better open house experience going forward and maybe making your open houses different than others, which is a big deal. Now, let's see here, success system. So we talked about, okay, so this is going to be, okay, this is going to get back to, I think we're done a couple minutes early. I'll answer any kind of questions you guys have. I've been in the business for a long time. Again, I started in mortgages in 1997. I did that. I used to own a mortgage company here in Utah and I loved it. I can answer questions about mortgages all day long. Or if you guys want to talk about real estate, I've been a real estate agent here. I worked on a red sign team for about 7.5 years. And then I broke off and started doing my own thing. But I'd love to talk to you a little bit about business and what's moving if you guys want. If you guys have questions about any deals you guys are working on. Any questions?
Jessica Larson.
Justin Larson. Name sounds
Jessica
familiar.
Larson.
Oh, Jessica Larson. Name sounds familiar. I don't know if I know her personally. Should I know her?
She's my lender.
She's your lender. Who's she with?
I'm blinking and I'm laughing because I just told her I forgot the company that you're with.
Jessica Larson.
She's been doing it for 16 years.
Oh, a long time too.
She's
Okay, good.
amazing.
Maybe we've crossed paths. I don't know. Depends on who she's with. Yeah, I like the mortgage world. However, I had to exit it because it was getting way too overwhelming. It's stressful. You guys, it is stressful. Being a lender is very stressful. Being a real estate agent, easiest job in the world. Oh my God, it's so easy and it's so much fun. And you're kind of like the top of the top. As a lender, I know this because I used to take real estate agents out to lunch all the time. I used to do stuff for real estate agents all the time. Now as a real estate agent, people do stuff for me all the time. It's beautiful. It's like the most fun thing in the world. So being a real estate agent is powerful. You guys are, again, a lot of times the lead to a lot of business. It gets captured by real estate agents. A lot of it can come from the mortgage world as well, because they do their own marketing. And a lot of times they have buyers who need real estate agents. So it's a good idea to pursue this career with a good lender. Understand lenders, understand how they work. understand them because it's going to help your business out. But the business is intertwined. You have to have a lender. So if you don't have a lender, more than likely your buyers aren't going to get the money that they need. So have somebody that can work with you as a team. And the more you're in sync with how they operate, the more success you're going to have as a real estate agent. It's good to have somebody on call so you guys can go and say, you know what, I know somebody who can get you pre-approved right now. I do it all the time. I send people over all the time to lenders. Why? Because I know that they a lot of times will come to real estate agents first. Not always, but most of the time they'll come to real estate agents first. And then they'll say, okay, tell me, how do I get this house? Well, what do I have to do? First step, talk to a lender, talk to somebody who can help you get that very first step done, which is getting pre-approved. Okay. And yeah, go ahead.
Other question. So you've been doing this for a while. What are you doing, or what are you focusing on this year to grow your business?
Good question. I would say probably just marketing my SOI, just making sure I contact them on a quarterly basis. I like to contact each person in my SOI, have a conversation with, as far as let them know kind of what the market's been doing. Folks like to know, where the market's at. Real estate's been in the market for a little while now. Like people have talked about it. It's something that they, they feel a little more comfortable. Hey, you know what? I have a question. So what's my neighborhood looking like? Where are interest rates? Things like that. Understand where they're at, but have a conversation. So I would say just talking to them on a quarterly basis. That's what I'm doing. And I've had a lot of business, just my SOI is what they call it.
Yeah.
People say, hey, I'm looking at selling my house, or I'm looking at buying, or, my family members looking at buying. So just conversations, but all comes with follow-up. This is all follow-up. Okay. So follow-up again is going to be about 80% of your business. So make sure you guys follow up. So that's what I'm focusing on.
So.
Good question. Mike, right? Okay, what kind of information can you lend to us? He's a lender, you guys. This is still a lender. I send a lot of business over to Intralend. Yeah. There's lots of business that gets swapped back and forth with your lenders. So make sure you guys tie in with some good lenders who can be a good resource for you, because you're going to need information. People are going to want to know, I want to get qualified right now. So
yeah. So I'm sure you guys have seen me around a little bit. I've seen some of your faces. I don't know names necessarily, but I've seen you around. Me as a lender, I'm a little bit unique compared to most other lenders out there. The idea is that I can broker out loans. I can originate loans here in the office. The relationship with Keller Williams and Intralend is more with the idea that we're helping your clients trying to figure out their finance needs, right? So whether that be me working with your clients and trying to get their financing put together, or working with outside lenders apart from Intralend, I have that availability as well. So I work very closely with lenders like First Colony, Security National, Intercap, some of these major retail lenders here in the area. The idea is that as you put a client through, I helped them as a finance manager work through their pre-approval process, make sure that they can qualify for something, right? And then I put things out to what I call bid, with the idea that I work with lenders that you guys are comfortable with, that you guys recognize and know who are on our platform, right? And ask them to give me a quote back on what their interest rate, what their fees, what it is that they have, right? And as those come back, I review those with your clients so that they can see an apples to apples comparison as to what's out there, what's available to them, and hopefully get them into the right situation as far as lending needs go. What's awesome about it, right, is this would typically be a process that they would take their application from and do it with each lender individually, right? They drop off their documents 4 or 5 different times, depending on how much shopping they wanted to try and do. I try and eliminate that so that it's all in one spot, and right, it's inside of the sphere of people that you like working with anyway, with the lenders that are on.
Like Jessica, you can just add her to this as well. So Intralend, like he was explaining, is wonderful because you can go and hit all of these lenders at the same time, and you have somebody here who's going to direct them, say, you know what, this person is better here or there. One application takes care of it all. I want to say it's much better than a Quicken Loan, but it's similar to where they fill out an application with, or he can direct them where to go. And I think that's a big deal. I love what you guys are doing. Absolutely love it.
The idea is that everything's on on our IntroLend app. In fact, if we want to download it, I've got gift cards for anybody who will download it and put themselves as a fast track through right now. The idea, the fast track is just the referral to me, right, with the customer's information. We're just asking for email and phone number so that we can contact them.
Yep.
As you do that, the idea is that it will send them a link to their personalized online portal. That'll allow them to be able to not only fill out the documents that, or excuse me, fill out the application that I need, but submit their documents like pay stubs, W-2s, bank statements, those kind of items, as well as any communication that goes back and forth between me and you as the agent is done through that app, as well as any communication to the client or the borrower, right, is done through that app. So they see everything through that portal. Again, the idea is that you guys get to drive a lot of this, right? So as you're putting in that, what I call fast track, that referral over to me, right? You are the one who gets to select the lenders that you want to work with as well. I leave that in your hands. I don't want to pick them for you, right?
So
I
you
don't
guys
know
still
who-
have control, which is the big deal. As agents, you have control. And that is huge in this world, because a lot of folks, they're looking for somebody, the go-to person. That's going to be you. Now you guys have a valuable tool in your toolbox. Where's the money going to come from? Mike, right here. Mike will take care of it. He knows where to get the money for your clients. You just got to give the information to them.
This is way better than them trying to just pick some online mortgage company out there that nobody's heard of, nobody's worked with, nobody has any idea what they do or how they do it, right? The people that are on the platform are vetted. They're good loan officers that work here in the county, right? And like I said, I can originate myself, meaning that if you wanted me to do the loan for them, I can always provide a bid and quote for them as well. And the nice about it is where I'm salary paid, whether I do the loan or whether it goes to one of these other retail lenders, right? It doesn't hurt my feelings either way, right? Whereas most lenders are commission based. They're going to fight for those loans and they're going to want to try and get them. So I try and create that where it's competitive for any lender out there to try and win the bid or get it. They're wanting to put their best foot forward for your clients. Go ahead.
So, and she's with Assurance Home Loans.
Assurance Home Loans. Just 1 second. Ritz, are you still there? And there's another gal. Are you? Was that Carla in the front desk? Who's there? Are you guys still there? Yes. Okay, you are. Okay. We can't hear you, but I'm glad you noted that. So Mike just introduced himself. He's IntroLend. He kind of is a broker and a finance manager who helps folks find, of course, the money, which is the big deal. Just make sure that they know. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. So she with insurance.
Yeah. So, and I don't know how to word this, so this is gonna
Go for
come
it.
out jumbled.
Go for it.
So I'm just trying to understand. So if my people are using Jess, they can still use you?
So the idea behind IntroLend, right, is I centralize everything, right? Meaning that you would refer the client to me, and then I would reach out to your preferred lenders that you've selected or have used, right? With the idea that I do the application, I do the document gathering, I do the pre-approval process for them in order to try and get them at least out the door shopping with you, right? As bids are starting to come back in and be put together, right? Say Jess, your preferred lender, is the one that's selected to win the bid, right? And she came back with the best bid. The clients are super happy with it and they want to go with her to do the lending, right? I package all of that stuff up that they've done with me, and I give it to her as a full vault of all that information that's already been collected. That way she doesn't have to do it again, right? That's the value that I provide to these preferred lenders as they're trying to get things put together.
Where does the cost lie for the client?
As far as them working with me, they're not charged anything for the services that I provide. The way that I earn my money is the preferred lenders pay me for the work that I do.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So she would have to contract with you guys.
When you say contract, meaning what? Like I'm not holding them obligated to anything that I'm putting together or have structured for them as far as
Right.
pre-approval goes, right? The big idea is hopefully a quick process so that not only are they out the door shopping with a pre-approval letter in hand,
Mhm.
but then can also figure out the bids while that's going on,
Right.
right? So if they do come back and decide that they don't like anything that they've done with me, right? They're more than happy to go shopping around on their own outside. The idea, right, is hopefully we've done everything to provide enough value for them and show them that we're helping them out with that financing so that they don't have to go out shopping on their own.
Have you ever used like an insurance broker? That's kind of what that's
Same
kind of what
idea.
I'm picturing,
Yep.
right? So
Did
Home and auto.
Mhm.
The home and auto, they just a brokerage. You know, lots of different companies that will fight for your business to insure you, which is great. What he provides is a service to clients. So he's somebody who I would say is a go-to person for your clients. Again, you can get Jessica set up with Intraland.
That's what, okay. I didn't mean contract, set up. That's why I,
Yep,
sorry.
yep,
Send her
yep.
information to Mike, contact her, they'll get everything situated. So then when there is a deal that comes through, and let's say you want Jessica to work on it, you just go to Intraland, you go ahead and choose her. But as an agent, you have to send out maybe 3 different people. You
Right.
can choose maybe 2 other lenders that you feel comfortable with. Maybe Mike's one of them, maybe, I don't know, maybe, what is that?
Sheila.
Okay.
Michelle, Melissa. You know, you can choose whoever you want, but it's good just to have like a location where you go ahead and send it. So that it's just it's a tool. As agents, you want to board a tool.
What's also
This class is done, just so you guys know.
Oh,
You guys have any other questions? No, you guys can go ahead and talk.
Where'd you get the pineapple shirt?
You like it?
I do.
You want one?
Yeah.
Okay, what's size are you?
Triple X.
Triple X. Okay, give me your information. I'll get you.
Deal.
Here, I'll text you here. You know, I'll put my number on here. Go ahead and send me your information, and I will. That's a 25. Okay, that's my cell phone number. Go ahead and text me information. I'll follow up with you.
Deal.
And yeah, if anybody else wants one, I can give it for you. Just that's my information. You should save it in your phone anyway. I'm a real estate agent here in the office, and I love what I do and can answer any kind of questions you have. Okay, just regarding real estate business. 801-830-0025. Yes, that's a 25.
Deal. Yes, I would.
Okay. We're just finishing up. Mike was just going over what Intraland does.
Did you make anyone cry?
Not yet.
Yes. Good job. No, I'm just kidding.
Not yet. I know. Usually somebody gets very sentimental in here. But I've been taking my estrogen blockers that help prevent a lot of the words from coming out, just to make sure I don't tear you guys up. And I haven't offered anything that is I have to take back, so that's good. Okay, no more questions for me?
Is that a 5 at the end?
Yes, I'm sorry. These last two, 0025.